Hello, everybody. I've got the wrong screen up. I always do that wrong, don't I? Every single issue. So, hello, guys. Welcome to issue 36. As always, with me today, we have two special guests. One is Horlicks.
Hello,
Chaos
everyone.
Horlicks.
Hello. Yeah, chaos. Chaos religion. It's what it's like at work at the moment.
Fantastic. And I must say, you look a lot happier than you did last week.
Well, yes. Yes.
And we have our favourite person as well, Mr. Dave Say.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
With the trademark hello from Dave.
Hello.
So, how is everybody?
Yeah, I'm good. And oh, good evening. We've got Roger Kendall in, Adrian Langley, Teddy Connor, Fleetwood J, Kevin Peachy. First time for you, so go easy on them.
Fantastic. Always
Hello, welcome.
New people. Well, look, Kevin. Hope you enjoy the show. It's a very relaxed atmosphere here. Obviously we'll do the build at the beginning. Any questions that come up while the build is happening, if they're relevant to the build, obviously we'll try and answer them as we're doing the build. But don't think we've forgotten anything if we don't answer straight away. Sometimes people ask me about stuff not relevant to this week's build, and we save that for the end. So hopefully we'll have a good laugh as we do every week, and then we'll have a little chat with Dave as well, who is probably the most interesting guy I know. So, right, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Now, I've got a problem, Horlicks. I'm not sure I can build this week. I can't find my screwdriver. It's gone.
Oh, well, it's funny you should mention that because mine's disappeared too.
Has it really? What's happened?
It's empty.
Oh, no. Hang on. What's that yellow thing on your shelf behind you?
Of course. Of course. We designed a new one, didn't we?
That looks really flashy. Do you know what? Actually, it looks quite similar to mine.
Wow.
So, yeah, guys, we took a design off Thingiverse, and we just added a few little struts, and this is now our new screwdriver holder. So there will be, I don't know if Horlicks is doing a video, but I will be doing a video on this on Sunday. I do the print of the week, and this is going to be this Sunday's print of the week. But yeah, we just thought we'd try and get a little bit of comedy in there. So this is this week's build. I can see some people saying it looks awesome. I can see some people being disappointed. It looks like it's going to be lots of fiddly parts, but there's not tons and tons. But there looks like there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 parts plus screws. So I like the look of it. But shall we get cracking on with it then, Horlicks?
Yes, I'm really excited actually for this issue.
Yeah, I am. It looks good. Now, I'm sorry. I'm going to say I know that there has been some people who have been having a few problems with it. Well, not so much the parts as maybe the screwdriver. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't mention that. Right. Okay. So, if you could call out the parts in the description for me, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I may struggle at the beginning of this stream, guys, because I've not got my camera software sorted out, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay. So, 36A is a steering wheel.
Okay, and that is a lovely piece of metal. Nice and solid. I can actually feel it as a steering wheel that I'm used to with the grips on the bottom, but it's metal and finished in a nice... It doesn't sound metal, actually, as much as the other pieces. So that's the steering wheel.
Okay, yep. 36B is a cap.
Okay, a cap. that could be this one. I'm going to have to get that camera software sorted out. I'm so sorry. I think what I'll do for this bit, I'll go for the fixed view.
Okay.
Bear with me, guys. I'm so sorry. It doesn't matter how prepared I am. There's always something. You'll have to forgive my hands. I've literally rushed home from work. Right, so that is. Let's take that off. That might work better.
Ah, that's better. Yeah.
A little bit too much light. So that's a little plastic piece.
Yep. 36C is a gear lever.
Okay, be careful here, guys. Small and plastic, and like I say, very small. Nicely detailed, though. I do like that. Okay.
Yep. 36D is a gear lever cover.
Okay. It might be. It's actually this piece, a little plastic piece. Oops. Okay.
Lovely.
And the next piece.
36E is a horn column and gear lever housing.
Now that looks very interesting. There's quite a lot going on there. I'll tell you what, see if I can get a bit of paper. Sometimes having on a piece of white paper helps, but not in this case. Okay. See if I get the light further up, that might help. Oh, that's not, yeah, that's all right. I'm liking that. There we go. So you see there's quite a lot of detail. I can see a locating peg there, possibly. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that.
Lovely. 36F is a steering column.
Okay, and that's plastic. Now, first thing I notice is this is at an angle. I'm guessing that's meant to be that way so that it sits like that as opposed to that. But yeah, okay.
Okay, yep. The 36G is a steering shaft.
Now that's metal, so that's obviously a working part, and there's a nice little cog on the end. See how long that stays shiny. Cogs don't tend to stay painted very long, do they?
No, not when they move.
Okay.
Okay, 36H steering gear.
Oops. And that's another cog with a little square hole in the bottom. And that is, don't know, is that metal? I think that's plastic. Okay.
Okay, so the 36I is a rocker lever.
Okay. And that's that. There's some of these parts I haven't got a clue about. It's not until I actually build them that I understand what they do. Okay, and what's next?
36J is a pushrod.
Okay, and that's a metal part. It's got a flat bit on this end and a little hole, and it's angled on the end. So.
And looking at the magazine as well, is the whole thing slightly at a bend?
That's. Let me rotate it. You can get an idea of what it looks like. Oops.
Yeah, so it's got a slight bend in it, isn't it? I think.
Yes, it's obviously going to come in at an angle.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Okay, 36K is a gearbox.
I'm going to put these two pieces together because they're both the same description, aren't they? So that's obviously two halves of a gearbox, and they're metal.
Okay.
So my only fear with these is that it's so nicely painted. Is that going to affect the screw holes? So we'll see. Not to worry.
Okay.
So the screws.
Yes. So we should have 5 lots of screws. So we've got some PM screws. There should be 2 of those.
Yeah.
CM, 6 of.
Lots of.
Okay. QM, 2 of.
Yeah. Yep.
Double M, 2 of.
Right, we haven't got any MMs, and I'll come back to that at the moment.
And then DP, 2.
Right. Now, we've got 2 DP screws. Now, we know what a screw looks like, but in the magazine, they've actually got an error here, unless they're supposed to be invisible screws. Now, coming back to the MM screws, I've been told that there aren't any MM screws. So what we've got is we've got the lovely glamorous Dave Say is going to be keeping track of all the screws that we use while we build. So when it comes to, I mean, there's only 1 MM screw because they always give us a spare, but there's, out of those 5 lots of screws, 4 of them only have 1 screw. So what we'll do is we'll get Dave to say, because I think I did have a little look in advance, and I do apologise. MM is actually the very last screw that we'll use on the build. So we'll then consult with Dave, and we'll see what screws we've used and which ones we've and how. So if we've got, say, for example, 2 CM screws, whereas we should only have the 1, then we'll know that possibly they should have put CM screw. There's a little bit of detective work going on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one last thing I need to do. I believe that we will need the driver's cab from last week. So I'll pop that within reach, but I haven't got the chassis within reach. Okay, so would you like, shall we begin?
Yes, let's do this.
So do you know what? I've lifted this light up so high I can't actually see the screen. So section 1, if you'd like to take us through that.
Okay, so you need to fit the raised square section of the rocker lever 36I into the opening in the gearbox section 36K. Okay, and then fit the square opening in the steering gear 36H over the raised square section of 36I and fix in place with a PM screw.
Lovely. Now, I've probably said this before, but I love you, Horlicks, because you've given me that time to just prepare my parts ready. So we'll select our weapon, and my weapon of choice today is J1. I tend to go for this one, and then if I need a smaller or a larger one,
yeah, I do the same. I do exactly the same. That is my go-to.
So, also, you know I like to pick on people. So, Chris Davies, what is the one thing I'm missing? And I'll give you a clue. It's yellow. Like I said, I do pick on people sometimes. Right, so we have got the rocker lever. So my instructions just start to slip. And that's going to go into... let me just double check. Sometimes I need to just flick back. So K is the one with the hole in it. One has got a hole right through the middle, and one hasn't, which kind of makes sense because we've got to put something into that hole. And then starting from this end, this is going to go into there. Do you know what? I thought that was going to fall through, but it's not. We'll just get that straight. And this has got a little square peg on it. Now I'm going to put it this way round purely because that's the magazine orientation way. Now these are supposed to be child-proof tops. But yeah, I can manage them. I always used to joke when I was young, you know those medicine cat bottles with the child-proof locks on? Mm. Well, I was always able to open them, but my auntie couldn't. So my auntie used to have to get me to open it for her. It was like, hang on, aren't these caps supposed to be protecting me from these? Right, you do need 15 hands with this.
And that's 1 PM screw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what? Actually, I wonder if plasticine would... Yeah. Actually, I just had a better idea. If I turn it round so that the rocker cover goes in between my fingers, that should help support that. And I thought by taking the end off the screwdriver, that would just help me just to get the screwdriver to bite. Unfortunately, the way that this screwdriver works is the magnetism is actually part of the screwdriver, and once you put the head in, it magnetizes that head.
Yeah.
And then once you take the bit out, it demagnetizes it. Okay. This is a moment where you could end up screaming. But it's definitely easier if you put the rocker cover in between your two fingers. That's one less hand that you need then. Do you know what? I think my knife has become magnetized. I'm just trying to get the screw in the hole, over the hole, anywhere close. There really isn't a lot of working space in there. Maybe our old friend the cocktail stick could come in useful. There we go, that's done it. Lovely. Okay, so I've got that in enough to bite. So hold the rocker cover, because remember the screw's going into the rocker cover, not onto the... I've forgotten what that's called now, the gearbox. No point holding the gearbox. So I've got the rocker cover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now that that's in.
Spin round.
Yeah, whoops. Be very careful. I nearly stabbed myself with the screwdriver there. So, however fast you normally screw, take it down a notch. And it is quite stiff, even with the washing up liquid. However, I would say... Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's not quite in enough to my liking. There you go, nice and slow. There you go. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so should we have a look at the next stage?
Yeah.
Is that meant to move, Dave? Do you know? Will that move?
It will do, yes.
Yeah.
So that will go round and round as the wheels go round, will it?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm going to sing next, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Well, yeah, it turns because obviously, yeah, when the other, I can vision that when the other cog is attached, as you turn the steering wheel, it will turn that, which will then turn the wheels left and right.
Lovely. Okay, so stage two.
Stage two.
Sorry,
So
I brought your instructions up there a little bit premature there. I do apologise.
that's all right. Take the steering shaft 36G and fit it into the gearbox section 36K. Ensure the ridges on part 36G fit into the neck of part 36K as indicated by the red dotted lines. Then the teeth on one end of the part 36G should connect with the teeth on part 36H. Fit the second gearbox section 36L so the end of part 36G is enclosed. Fix in place with 3 cm screws.
Right. Let's see how much I can mess this up then. So we have the part that we did in the last stage. Now, should there be a start and finish point with this rocker cover, Dave?
I would just leave it hanging down and see how it goes from there, rather than lifting it up or anything.
Right, that is an absolutely perfect fit as a dry fit.
Yeah.
You can see that as that goes round, I don't know if you can see that rocker cover moving.
Pens, yeah, absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because
So-
afterwards you can always twist that as much as you like. You know, then you can put it in the
Yeah.
right position later on. I'm sure it'll instruct us later on.
Right. So we've got a little guide in. There's like a little notch in there. I'll try and get an angle. Can you see that notch there where my fingernail is?
Yeah.
And that's obviously going to go. Yeah, that's going to go over there, like so. No. Right. I'm going to do a dirty little trick here. I'm liking the way I've lined that up, and I don't want to lose that position. I've just come up with a little idea. You remember the old masking tape?
Aye.
So I'm just going to pop a little bit of masking tape there. We only need to get one screw in, and then it'll hold itself. I think if we just pop a little bit, that masking tape will then act as one of my hands. So I've got a third hand as such. So, because sometimes it's not holding the part, it's getting the screwdriver lined up. Sorry, getting the screw lined up.
Screwing, yeah.
Because you just need that. You really need 3 adult hands and a baby hand. Sometimes 2 baby hands. And also, because it's an M screw, I'm going to pop a little bit of washing up liquid in there.
Yeah.
Is everybody clear on why we use washing up liquid? Right, so first screw. Right, I'm going to go for the smaller screw head on that, I think. Yeah, much happy with that one. So this one I'm using the J0. I don't mind describing these now because people know what I'm on about more. I think half of the world have bought these screwdrivers now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's 3 CMs as well, won't it?
We started something, haven't we?
I think we have. Right, so that's only in enough just to bite. Probably about half a turn, maybe a turn in there, just so that it's in. And same with that one. And then third one will go in. It's quite difficult. I'm finding this difficult because it's black and shiny. It might just be me. Right, so they're all in just enough to bite. So now I can take the masking tape off. And yeah, I can see that's in. In fact, that's actually in quite solid straight away. So very carefully, just give it a couple of turns on one screw, a couple of turns on another. A couple of screws on the third one. I'm doing a Horlicks now. I'm making sure everything still works fine. It's one of the great things about Horlicks' channel is that he won't just go screw, screw, screw. Let's hope for the best. He will check at every stage. So I'm just literally giving just a couple of screws. Now that one's now gone in tight. Oh, that one is a little bit not so. This is a difficult one because it's how to hold it.
Oh, lovely.
So I've done them as tight as I can. I'm just making they are in. So you see this one went in a little bit more than this one did. Yeah. And then we'll just... Right, I'm just going to give that a little bit of a wipe because I think I've got a bit of washing up liquid on my finger and I just start rubbing it. So, do you be happy with that?
Yeah, brilliant.
This bit moves.
When that spins round. Does
Yeah.
it go
Yeah.
all the way round, or does it? Yeah.
Does, but do you know what? It was to get it past about there. It was quite difficult, but once you turned it, it was fine. But I promise you, this wasn't planned. I printed this off the other week. It's like a gear system, and like most things with plastic parts, the more you spin it, the easier it becomes. It kind of wears until it becomes comfortable. So, but anyway, yeah, I think that's what's basically happened there. So there, once it gets to about there, it doesn't want to go so easily, and then it passes that point. But the more you spin it, but I'm not going to spin it too much because I don't know how much it's meant to spin.
I don't think it spins at all. I think it just moves from side to side.
Right. So as long as it does that freely.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, that makes sense actually, doesn't it? If that's probably going to go underneath, that'll hook up to the hole in the wheels.
Yeah.
Or probably, I don't know, sideways or... yeah. Anyway. Right, so should we have a look at stage 3, I think we're up to?
Yes. And the other thing I like about this build is how technical these things are. Like, that is a really quite a technical part. And, you know, on some of these other builds, they've absolutely messed some of it up.
Have they really?
Yeah, like the DeLorean, for instance. They had to send us a new steering rod because they didn't measure it properly. And
right.
It didn't fit properly, and then the...
Do you think maybe they rushed that DeLorean at the end?
I think it's, just rush. But that's just a really nice thing. It's, you know, you build it and it's all mechanical, and it's brilliant.
Right. Well, there's a
Okay.
there's a comment I like. Teddy Connor says, "Love the rocker lever. Looks exactly like the real thing." Hey, 2+ Stevo, how are you? And Kevin Peachy is asking, are the DP screws the MM screws? Well, we'll find that out as we go. Once we're basically doing it by the process of elimination. Okay, so stage 3, that looks quite simple, actually.
Yep. Okay, so step 3, fit the socket on the Pushrod 36J over the peg on the end of part 36I. Fix that in place with 1 QM screw.
Okay, you're a little bit quicker than me today on this one. Right, so...
It's alright, there's no rush?
No rush, we've got a whole week to do this. So there's the part from the last stage. And we've got... right, so the flat bit is going to go towards the rocker lever. And that's going to go in like that. So I'm not liking the look of that hole. So what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to take my QM screw. I know we use washing up liquid, but I just want to make sure that actually fits. Oh. Well, that was handy. I dropped the screw, but I dropped it into my fingers.
Is it cutting its thread?
I'm not sure. I think it is. Yeah, that is going to fit into that hole. Okay, that's fine. Right, so a little bit of washing up liquid because it's an M screw. They're all M screws, aren't they, today?
Only apart from the DPs.
Apart from the invisible screws, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's 1 QM screw.
Okay, so that's going to have to go through first. So that's handy because that's going to act as a little screw holder for us. So hold that together. And we're going to turn very slowly just until we get it to bite. I think you can see it start to bite there because it's moving that rod.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Now, Probably going to find it easier to rest this on something because it's going to be quite hard to hold. Let's see what I've got lying around. Oh, look. Or the old Oreo box isn't dead and buried yet. It means that you guys have got a harder view. But actually, that's not working too well. So despite all of that, this is quite stiff. So we might have to try the old backwards and forwards trick. Now, it doesn't say... Oh, it says do not over-tighten. So I assume what it means by over-tighten is that it's got to be movement. So I'm just switching my screwdriver head again. I'm wondering if it'd be better with a different... Yeah, look, back to the J1. That's going to give it a little bit more grip. I'm just beginning to just scrape away. What do you call it when you take away the X in the screw?
Round it off.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's much better. Yeah.
We used to say taking a bit of bark off on farm.
Yeah. That works for me. Right. So I don't know how far they want that in. There's a little bit of wobble there. Is that enough? Should I do it more? Should I?
I would maybe push it in, yeah, a little bit more, and then if it gets to a point where
really, really stiff.
yeah,
So
back
I'm
it
gonna
off half a turn.
yeah. See, me and you, we're thinking the same now, aren't we? Right, that's quarter of a turn. So I'm going to go with that for now. Oh, look.
Wow.
Oh, how amazing is that? I'm sorry, but that is just simple genius mechanics there. I could stop there. That's my money's worth there.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
Brilliant.
I get excited over little things, don't I? Right, okay, so stage 4. Sorry, I brought it up really early. Again, I do apologise.
That's all right. So stage 4. So we're going to be looks like we're going to be working on the gear lever. So fit the hole in the end of the gear lever 36C over the locating peg in the gear lever housing section of part 36E, as indicated by the blue dotted line. And you found that earlier, didn't you? Anyway, fit the gear lever cover 36D over the gear lever to hold it in place, and then fix that in place with 1 DP screw.
All right. Okay, I think I know where this is going with the end of the build, because I've got the wrong screen. I've just put the last of the screws that we've got into the pot. Okay, so let's try and do the easy but fiddly bits first. So it looks like this little locating peg that I spotted earlier on, that looks like that's where the gear lever's going. And I would say I'm correct there. So is that a semi-automatic gearbox then? Because I thought it was an automatic gearbox.
Semi-automatic. Semi-automatic.
Oh, that's a lot simpler than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cover is going to go over the gear lever. Oh, look at that. I know that's not going to do anything. That's just for decoration. But it's those small little bits that make a difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what part of the reason why I'm a little bit upset with the handbrake, because the rest of it is so nice, and you could pretend, people could go, "What a fantastic build! Shame about the handbrake."
Mm.
So, but that's just my. Yep, that's a DP screw.
DP, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, yeah, because the handbrake, I think, deserves one to be metal, and I think it deserves to have some movement in it.
I mean, look how much detail they've put into a tiny weeny part, and then a big major part. I mean, this is only my opinion, guys. Please don't agree with me just because just because I've said it. If you think that handbrake is wonderful, I respect your opinion. But You know, Hachette seems to have put so much good work into this. Right. I don't know if that'll tighten anymore, but that's on there nice and tight, so why push it anymore? Okay. Are you
Brilliant.
happy with that?
Superb.
I think that looks fab. I'm really, really loving this. Okay, so turn the pagey, and we are on section 5.
5. So, take the driver's cab floor and wall assembly from the previous issue, and then fit the end of part 36F into the large hole in part 35A.
Okie dokie. So that's really simple. Anyone could do this. I've got masking tape stuck to my hand, look. So this is the angled part that I suspected. Now we've got the little key fitting there, and there's the little, keyhole key. So we've got a little notch there. So obviously we want to line it up that way, like so. And that is, do you know what? That was almost as if it was made to go there. And that's it. That's stage 5. Yeah, I'm glad you got my joke, because I'd have looked really daft if if no one had got it. Okay, so stage 6.
Okay, so take the gearbox assembly from step 3 and then fit part 36G into the steering column 36F from beneath the floor.
Right, okay. Now, I'm a little bit concerned here because I can't see any way of fitting it, holding it. But we'll see what happens, you know. I have faith. So I'm going to hold this because obviously that's going to fall off. Be careful, I nearly caught that handbrake. And that's going to go through. Looking at the magazine, we've got... Right, little square bit there. That goes towards the front of the bus. And that's going to go in like... Oh, that's a stiff fit. Right, and that lines up very nicely with 2. Move that back. Right, can you see 2 screw holes there? And that just goes in perfect.
So in theory, step 5 could be something that may hinder step 6, because in theory I personally think you could fit that after you fitted that part.
Let's give it a go.
To make things easier.
One thing I want to do as well. Do you know what? No, that doesn't want to sit there. Do you see how that's rocking?
Right.
It's because it won't make it central to the hurl, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that is step 5 is important.
Right. You can put this on upside down. It will go. So another way I've just spotted, I think, is that obviously this goes to one side. The rocker cover takes it outwards, and then this rod brings it more to the middle. That's the side that you want furthest to the right. I'm just going to have a little look at the finished. Yeah. Right. Can I just ask you just to pull up the finished view, if you wouldn't mind, and then just do a big zoom in. Sorry, guys. Always don't be scared to have a little look ahead and see what happens. So it'll be the next page, I believe. Oh, that'll work. That'll work. So you see how, well, actually, I'm going to ask you to look at the finished view because it just makes it a little bit more clear. That doesn't clearly show which side is which. Right. So you see the top view. There we go. So you can see how it comes down. The rocker cover goes off to the left, and then it comes back in with that rod. And then you've got a little right, okay. I'm going to go back to right. Do you see there? You've got a little circle on the box. There isn't one on the other side. And then if you look on the finished view, you can see that little circle there. So that circle wants to be pointing to the right. So you can put this in the wrong way round, and that's how to check. And it is actually good. You can see, look, if you see the size of the hole compared to the steering column, that's why we're putting that in. It's a little bit fiddly, but this obviously just stabilizes it. So sorry to make that a little bit long-winded, but so we've got the little circle with the 3 sticky out bits. I don't know if that actually does something. And there we go. And then you'll just need to move your hand because it's gonna, yeah, you can see that it's gonna poke out. I think we can pretty much figure out why that's gonna poke out.
Yeah.
And there we go. And although they've got it this way, I can see that's going to be a screw hole. So I'm just going to push that to that side because oh, and then my steering column's fallen off. So I wonder if there's a trick I can do with sticky stuff. No, just probably hold it with 2 fingers like that, guys. Okay. It is going to try and move around, or at least mine is. So that's probably a good way to hold it. Thumb underneath and 2 there. And just push and rock this one, because if it's not in the hole, remember there's a keyhole in there. So once it's in, it won't move too much. That's the most I can move. Right, okay, shall we have a look at the next stage before my fingers go dead? Stage 7. The instructions are getting quite large now. I noticed early on they're quite small on the page.
Okay, so carefully turn the assembly over, keeping all the pieces in place, and fix the gearbox assembly in place with 2 CM screws. They go through the screw holes in parts 36K and 36L into the raised screw sockets in part 35A.
Lovely. Right, so 2 CM screws, Charlie Mike. I probably didn't want to put my magnetic screwdriver into a pot that contained lots of screws. As you see, I've got quite a few built up. Pop your screwdriver in there and you do get more than 2. I can promise you that. So 1, 2. Actually, I should be using this pot, shouldn't I? So I'm going to do, because of the placement of my fingers, I'm actually going to do one at a time. I'm going to do this one first, because I think that's going to be the trickier one to do. Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. So.
And that's 2 CM screws.
2C, Charlie Mike.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So the floor is metal, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking there that it was plastic, but I'm thinking of the first part we built on the bus, the rear, where the stairs are. So I was thinking, oh, why are we using metal screws in plastic?
Yeah. Okay, now this screwdriver will go in. It's not too bulky, but I am only just going to do it until it bites. But see there, it will go in, but just be careful. I know this is all on, but this is the thing that I'm talking about. Like, this is all going to sit underneath the cab, and this is where the magic is happening. So that's, you see, that's in loose.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can work round onto, nearly caught that handbrake again. I can see possibly me, probably other people could, sorry, that came out wrong. I could see people snapping that off. So Loctite could get some extra orders. Now this one's very easy to go in, as you can see. So get a good firm grip. Okay. Careful, remember this bit here is plastic, so try not to support it there. There you go, I think I've just found a nice, there you go. I'm holding it like that. That's actually quite a nice way to hold it. And then thumb on top. Support as much of it as you can with as many fingers as you can. Okay, that is screwing in quite a long way. Check that. You won't be able to turn that. There we go. I don't know if you can see that blob on the top of the steering wheel. As I move the bars, it moves.
The M screws in there.
Do you see that moving backwards and forwards?
The M.
So we know that's working. Okay, so I'm happy with that mechanism there. So I'm always checking this, and actually my steering column's fallen out. But that's fine, because I think that will... Don't pull it out, but I think that will come out. Okay, so I'm happy with that then. I'm trying to think of a good way to hold this. That's in nice and firmly.
See if you can count.
So there's actually quite a lot of movement there, which is probably a good thing, because it wants to move freely backwards and forwards. I really like that. That's superb. Right. Okay, so what's the next stage?
Okay, so the next thing is we need to take the gear lever assembly from step 4 and fit part 36E over the top of the steering column 36F.
Okay, so that's a nice, easy fit. Very little effort required there. Nothing to screw down. So it looks like...
Does it have a keyway? It looks like it might have a keyway on this image.
7.
Yes, yes. Right. Good spot there, Horlicks. Right. Just there, where my little fingernail is, there's a little tiny cutout. There's a better view of it. See if I can change the focus. Ah, that's much better, isn't it? Can you see the cutout there?
Yeah.
Right, and that will line up with this. Towards it'll be closest to the driver. There's a little extra bit just there on the bottom, and see this screw there? That wants to face down, so it won't be seen from above. And then all you'll probably need to do, there we go. Right, if you place it on, I'm deliberately not placing it correct. You see that that's not right, which means that I can rotate it freely. But as it comes into position, it then wants to lock, and that will actually go down. So I'll do that again. Deliberately put it in the wrong place there, just for this purpose of this video. But you see it's moving freely. But as I bring it there, it's just found its position. And if I just wiggle it gently, don't force it, and that will go in lovely. Got a little bit of a defect there where it was stuck to the obviously it's stuck to the mold sprue, but that could be easily fixed with a scrape. I'm not going to overly worry about it right now. So there is a bit of movement there, but I'm not really going to worry about it too much. Okay, so are we ready for the next stage?
Yep, okay, so step 9 is to fit the... Oh, there's a little bit of a typo there. The steering wheel, 36A.
Is that street or saint?
Pardon?
Is that street or saint? Because ST dot is an abbreviation for saint.
Yeah, I think it's saint. So fit the saint earring wheel 36A over the steering column, 36G circled in red. Fix in place with an screw.
Okay. So this is where we need Detective Say on the case.
Okay.
Because this is where we haven't got the screw.
But we have got the screw, and I think there's been a bad misprint in this magazine.
Right. So what screw have we now got in excess?
Well, the reason why I say that is because we used in total PM screws of 1, and we had 2.
And we were supplied with 2, yep.
2, yeah. We've used CM screws 5, and it says that we were supplied by 6, but in actual fact we were supplied by 7, or at least I was.
Do you know what? I didn't actually count my screws. So I may well have got 7.
So we had 1 QM screw, and we were supplied with 2. We had no MM screws, and we had 1 DP screw, and we've got 1 left. We were supplied by 2. So that concludes that it should really be a CM screw.
Right. So by the process of elimination, that screw there is a CM. And we know that that's a metal part, so it definitely is something that ends in M. So there's only one way to find out then.
Right.
Let's pop the steering wheel on, and what I'll do is I'll just pop the screw in there. That will act as a holder then. And I don't think that it's going to be direct. Oh, it could be actually. Yeah, there's actually a square hole inside that steering wheel. I'm not really going to be able to show you too well. But there is a square fitting in there, and then that is square. So it's basically a case of you can put the steering wheel on in any one of 4 ways. So it's kind of semi-directional. So we'll just pop a bit of washing up liquid. Just enough to cover the hole. There we go. So you pop it on as you're bringing the steering wheel down, just moving it gently, and then you get to a point where it kind of locks. And there is going to be play in that, I think. Having said that, no, that will balance, but I'm not going to trust that. So I'm going to find a nice, comfortable way to hold it. So I'm kind of holding the edges of the steering wheel, kind of pushing down. And then I'm just going to give that enough just to bite, as I always do. And we'll give that a check. Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
Look at that. Oh, I've got a new toy. I'm going to be playing with this all night. Okay, so I'll just finish up that screw.
I've just written a post-it note on my little desk so that when I get to issue 36 and I get confused, I can look at that.
Or you could just watch this video back and help me get my views up.
Yeah. Mind you, no, because I never really watched it, so I think it only gives you one view.
Okay, fair enough. Right, that steering wheel is quite stiff, so I'm going to loosen it off. At this point, I don't know how loose we want it. So I'm going to do it so that it moves free. Actually, I'm going to use... This is a trick that I was quite impressed with Horlicks when he did his wheels. If you've not watched his videos, I really do urge you. I'm going to keep moving that because there's going to be paint on there. There you go. And it is actually loosening up a little bit. Because I don't know, once I put this cap on, is that the stage we're up to?
Yeah, then
jumping ahead?
Yeah, it's the rest of step 9. When you've done that.
I don't know how difficult it's going to be to get this cap off if I need to adjust that screw. So I'm going to do Horlicks' trick, and I'm just going to work that a little bit. And then I'm happy with that. It is stiff steering, but I believe the real Routemaster did have people like me would have to stand up to steer that. No, you laugh, but
Yeah,
I've driven
no,
buses where the steering has been that heavy. I've literally had to stand up and hang on the wheel
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
move it, and I'm
One of
sure
my
it's not
first
safe.
One of my first cars didn't have power steering, and it was a Corsa, and I almost had to try and stand up in that to steer the thing. So I can
Yeah,
imagine how much more difficult a bus would be
yeah,
with, taking into consideration the weight of the vehicle, and the size of the wheels.
right. While you were saying that, I just put the cap in, and it's just simply a case of just make sure it's lined up, and just you can hold that steering wheel because it's metal. So, and I just made sure I pushed down, pushing through the steering column because that's where it's going to be strong. So obviously, if I push in like that, I could snap that off. Probably won't because it's metal, but I'm happy with that. I'm not sure about the detail there, but how does that look to you, Dave?
Superb.
Yeah,
Absolutely superb.
really happy with that, are you?
Yeah.
I am, because now we've got working parts.
Wow.
It's brilliant.
I am very, very happy with that.
So
Don't know how
simple,
I'm
but
going to store
effective.
it. Yeah, but that's the beauty of the Routemaster, though, wasn't it? It was simple because it had to be. The idea was, I was talking to someone this morning about it. It wants, if there's a problem with the bus, it wants to be wheeled in, want that back in service, because when your wheels aren't moving, you're not earning. Was it? You're
Yeah.
only earning when your wheels are turning. So, yeah, keep it simple, stupid, I think
So
is what some of my people.
I wonder if that warrants a little write up then to Hachette about the screws, maybe.
Quite possibly, yeah. Maybe they could actually update their Facebook page.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a favour? You've got the finished view up. Obviously, we'll have a look at the finished view. Could you get a close-up of the Routemaster cab as well for everyone to see? Obviously, most people building this, but you can see the detail. You've got the knobbly bits on the bottom of the steering wheel, the grips. They're in place. What is that big stick coming out from the right? Is that the horn?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be, because it did say
And
the
then-
horn.
Yeah.
And
it's
then-
like a back.
Could you get your mouse onto that, Horlicks?
Yeah, this bit.
Yeah, right. Come across to the right. You've got a little knob. So where are you? To the left. That's it. That one. Don't know what that is. That is present on the build, but I don't know what it is. Do you know, Dave?
I can't see the blown up copy.
Okay. Let me see if I can show you on the build then. Right. So we've got the gear shift there,
Gear lever on that side, yeah.
but just below, you see that one there through the steering wheel.
Okay. I was thinking maybe light switch, maybe, or maybe even the reversing lever.
That
You
one.
maybe
Yes.
have to actually move two levers to get it in reverse.
Which would stop you from putting it into reverse by accident.
By accident, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense then, because we know the indicators are a big red button on the dashboard.
Yes,
which seems odd to me. Does seem odd to me, but that was the design of the time. Okay, so what did you think of that, guys?
Well, personally, I thought that was marvellous.
Do you think that
Brilliant.
might be one of the best issues we've had so far?
One of the best, yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I like all of them.
Definitely a candidate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm definitely the same, yeah. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through. Actually, should we do next week's issue now, and then we can sort of sit and chat? Because we do like looking at next week.
Ooh.
So the description for next week is, if I can find it, continuing work on the driver's cab. Parts are supplied so that you can fit the foot brake and accelerator. Now, looking at the completed part for this week, it looks like all we're getting is a wire and some brackets to attach that. So it could be a very simple issue next week. And it says...
It looks like you're pushing something through 2 holes into the floor as well. So I guess there'll be switches.
Yeah. Well, it says fitting... Parts are supplied so that you can fit the foot brake and accelerator. That says to me that we may not get the foot brake and the accelerator. So one of the questions that I've got is, if we're getting electronics for the foot brake and the accelerator, what are those pedals going to actually do?
I guess that my bet is it's going to be like the DeLorean, and when you push the brake pedal down, it activates the brake lights.
Right.
That's what I'm suspecting.
Okay, and the accelerator pedal?
I don't think the accelerator pedal will do anything unless there's a sound box that makes the thing, you know, sound like it's revving. But I didn't read up anything on that when we started the build about sound effects. I know it's got a bell.
Yeah.
But I suspect it's just going to be the brake pedal.
Right.
That's going to turn on.
I've got to admit, it's been 35, 36 weeks since I looked at the original poster that came with it. So I can't remember off the top of my head what we're getting, the features that we're getting, but I'm pretty sure someone mentioned engine noise. Whether that was a wish list or some actual evidence for that, I don't know. We're getting a pedal that works.
Because obviously, another clue. Another clue. I mean, I know we can't really go to look at these images too much because they're very basic views, aren't they, of what we get next week. I mean, look at the other issue we had. We thought, we're just getting that, and then you ended up with a bag full of parts.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
But looking at this image, it looks like there's only a twin cable anyway, so it's only going to power one of those pedals.
Good point. Good point. Because you need a positive and a negative, and I really like the theory of your brake pedal doing the brake lights. So that would be nice. And I've just found the leaflet. A leaflet. So we've got a headlights. Fully operating headlights, rear and interior lights. Right, it doesn't say anything else about it. However, I'm just going to show you this, guys, because this is quite interesting. When we first got this, you should all recognize this from issue 1.
Yeah.
We all got one of these. Obviously, we looked at the bus. We didn't know what we were getting when. But now that we've actually started to build it, if you look at the engine, I'm now looking at some of those parts and thinking, yeah, I remember putting that bit in. I remember putting this bit in. I remember having trouble. There's a little bit that goes over the top that I had trouble with.
Yeah.
That snapped off on mine twice. There's issue 29 there with the little black wires. Oh, weren't they fun?
Oh, it was.
So I wonder if I'm going to have more trouble with that engine. Because once we put it in, mind you, we're going to put bits in around it, aren't we? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm now starting to recognise some of these bits. When I last looked at this is what's coming in the future. This is what my bus will look like in 2.5 years. Now it's starting to get to the point of, yeah, I know that bit. There you go. There's your little the bits that you had trouble with, Horlicks.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at these with little bits of happy memories. Well, I've got happy memories. There's the bit. I think that was issue 15, wasn't it? We did a recap. So yeah, it's so there's nothing in that giving away what we're going to be doing next week. So what do you guys think? What do you think,
Just
Dave?
read that description again, Penny, about the headlights.
About the headlights. Fully operating headlights, rear and interior lights.
For fully operating headlights, they have to have dipped and main beam, and for fully operating rear lights, they have to have brake lights. So there's a lot of speculation there, and I think there's a lot to look forward to. I really do.
Do you think speculation is dangerous though? Because if you start speculating simple things and then we don't get it, are we then going to go, oh, I'm very disappointed with that now?
Well, the good thing about this is that there's so many adaptations that we possibly could do to it in the future. There's a lot of very, very useful builders out there with very, very good knowledge of how to adapt things from to work in a certain way.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't mind me saying, look at my my block bus. That didn't have lights, but it has now.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
So, yeah.
So I'm just going through the comments. Kevin saying it's a great build. Hi everyone from 32 Sol. Is that? Oh, no, I'm confusing you with someone else. Kevin Pritchard says it's glad it's metal rather than plastic. I think we tend to get metal parts when it needs to be metal. So this steering column is quite a lot of metal parts because it's by the time you've attached that to the wheels, it's going to need to be able to. It's going to need to be quite strong.
Yeah.
He also says, "How was the port today?" Yeah, the port was fine. Newport is Newport, really. Newport is just a unique place in the world. It's not like any other. It's a little bit like Narnia, but not quite so exciting. I can say that now because I am a resident. So Kevin Reese are the DP screws. So right, to go back, Kevin Peachy says, are the DP screws the MM screws? It's actually the MM screws are the CM screws in this issue only. Horlicks says, oh no, Horlicks says hello everyone.
Yeah.
Izzy, nice to see Izzy. How are you getting on with your build, Izzy? She may actually just popped in and popped out because I know she's. Are you 2 hours ahead of us? So that'll be about 11 o'clock now. So Teddy Corner seems impressed with the bus steering. It says it looks awesome. Underdog Painting says, hey peeps, how are you, Underdog? Kevin Pritchard's back. Shadow Cat evening all. Dave Mill agrees. Teddy Connor agrees the handbrake should move as they put the detail into the gear lever and headlamp dip switch. Why not the handbrake lever? Yeah. The parts that we're not seeing are very well detailed. Parts we're not going to see too well are very well detailed. A big old massive part, not really. So, you know, I try to be positive and it's still a nice build. The detail on the handbrake is fantastic. So what I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to repaint it, and I know how I'm going to repaint it. I've got the paints for it. Would you like me to paint that on stream if we get the chance? Or would you like me to paint it during the week and then come back and say, right, this is what I've done with it? So if Hachette are like the other builds, you'll have to purchase folders. Oh yeah, someone was saying about the folders. I personally don't subscribe to the binders because I got these really cheap, and these hold a lot more They're only plastic. They're about a couple, 2 or 3 quid each, and they hold probably twice as much as the binders. And now that I've got a few magazines building up from various partworks, they work really well for me.
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you like the binders, I mean, it is a nice binder. I have got the free one somewhere.
Thank you, Penny.
It,
That is a really, really, really good idea because I've opted out of the binders of
Yeah.
the Routemasters because I've got the DeLorean and the R2 ones. That is a brilliant idea. I didn't think of that.
Well, those particular ones I got from Viking Direct, which is a stationery supplier, and their delivery's fairly quick as well. Teddy Connor says that he's bought his folders off eBay as he gets my issues. I mean, I've just had a thought. Did we get our binder with our first delivery?
I think so. We've got what you should have one. Like me, I've got one, but you can get quite a few in it.
How much was the first delivery? Was it? Oh, it's probably about the same price, wasn't it? £1.99 for issue 1 and a £5 for issue 2. So that's £7. No, I was just about to say, why don't you just subscribe? Start a second subscription, get the binder free with the first delivery, then cancel the subscription, and then a couple of months later start another second subscription. But you're only going to save yourself £1 each time, aren't you? Although you'll get spare parts, so I don't know. Maybe that's an idea, but that's probably a bit naughty.
How much are they on eBay, if you don't mind me asking? When you bought them on eBay, I'm wondering if are they still the same price, or are they quite a lot cheaper?
Controlling 2 computers here. Think binders will hold some at like 20 issues. I've actually got a lost binder at the moment. I overuse this excuse, but I think I've got something like 30 odd issues in a binder, but they are squashed in there.
I've got 30 in this one.
Right, and are you all squashed in?
Then they're all squashed in, yeah. 30.
Yeah.
And they're beginning to burst through as well, so.
No, Fighter Sweep said he had trouble with the screw, suggested for fixing the steering wheel into the column. I couldn't get the thing in and had to use a CM screw. The seemed too big. Theoretically, we shouldn't ever be going into our pot for our spare screws from previous issues, which is why I asked Dave before we start the stream if he could do a count out of the screws, and then that's when he discovered we've got an extra CM screw. So Dave Milner's definitely painted the handbrake. Handbrake looks camo against the driver's wall. Yeah, good point. Fighter Sweep has painted the handbrake control rod and handle silver. It looks way better. Yeah, it's going to add a little bit of silver touch and just add something to the look. Love Mini says it turns. Paint the engine stop knob aluminium as well. Okay, that's something to think about. Fantastic build. Teddy Connor says the Routemasters was like the F1 car of its day. In for repair, fixed within minutes. Had to be so simple for quick turnaround. Yeah, because it's well, wheels aren't turning. It's not earning money.
Yeah.
I think most people are agreeing, or everyone's agreeing, it looks brilliant. Teddy Connor saying it's 35 quid for the first delivery, so it's not worth getting that just for the binder. Chris Cambling's off to Alton Towers tomorrow.
Oh, I'm really jealous again.
Big Dipper.
It's brilliant up there. It's his first time as well. You are going to love it. Oh, what's happened? Are you still there, Penny?
Have we lost Penny? I might have lost Penny. I'll have to do an interlude, Horlicks, and start singing and dancing.
Yeah. Can everyone hear us okay?
Still says we're live, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether we are around.
Can you still hear me and Dave? Ah, right, okay. We've lost Penny.
Lost Penny, you must have done, yeah. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? That happened to me though about 4 or 5 weeks ago, didn't it? All of a sudden, I just went. I don't know why, and I couldn't get back onto the stream for some reason. Internet is a funny thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing. Is the internet? It either works or it doesn't.
Oh, you're live on the screen. On the screen now, it's chosen you to for your camera.
Chosen me over you, has it?
Yeah.
Oh well, I think you should talk a bit, and then it'll choose you over me.
Yeah. No, I've messaged Penny, but she's gone off, so she's probably rebooting. But no, oh no. But anyway, no. Back to Chris. Yeah. You're going to really enjoy Morton Towers. I've been a few times, but make sure you get on the Wicker Man. It's absolutely amazing ride. It's had a lot of downtime because I think where it's fairly new. However, it's just the buzz it gives you is absolutely amazing. I bet you're going to come off with a smile ear to ear. But yeah, I got my mug. I got my mug last time I was there in the summer. Well, it wasn't even the summer. It was about a couple of months ago. I think I stayed up at the Alton Towers Hotel for 3 nights because it was a really good deal. Because I've got a Merlin annual pass, so we can just go any time.
That's massive. That mug, Horlicks. That's absolutely massive. How much does that hold? Is it two pints?
Well, I reckon about a pint. I'll probably get about 2 or 3 cups of tea in here.
It's massive.
Okay. So Penny has just messaged me. She has had a power cut.
Right.
So yeah, that's where she has gone. Can you?
I was going to say, shall we end the stream then for her?
We can't. I can't do anything. We're
right.
live. Because Penny's got all that.
Must be down to the adverse weather
then. Sorry, I'm just. She's going to join us soon. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, no. So yeah, the mug is huge. Obviously, I can't show you at the moment, but yeah, it's quite expensive, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It probably gets about three or 4 regular cups of tea in this mug.
Yeah, I think when I saw you first drinking out of it, I called it a bucket because it's massive.
So let's carry on with the comments. Fleetwood J says he prefers Icon on Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Do you know what? I really want to do that, but I've never been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I've been to Blackpool, but it was out of season, and it was all shut down for the winter. And we do keep meaning to go up there, but it involves paying money because obviously our local theme park's actually Thorpe Park in Chertsey, which is about an hour and a half away. So we normally get annual passes once a year, and then that entitles us to Thorpe Park, Chessington, the Warwick Castle, Legoland, Alton Towers. So it's better value for money, and then we can just rock up anytime we want. All we've got to do is pay for fuel. So obviously it's more difficult because I've been up to Drayton Manor and things, but it's just difficult because where we're used to the passes, when we rock up at like Drayton Manor or Blackpool, you've got to pay money to get in. But we will do it. We will do it. But it's just a long way to go, so it needs to be planned and stuff. So yeah. Daniel Simpson said how many? Oh no, sorry. Sean Gates, have we a box for the bus yet?
Oh,
I don't know. Are we? I don't think we're getting a box, are we?
I don't think one's mentioned via Hachette.